And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ultimate Dirt TV. Welcome to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It is now time for your Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Spring Season Week number 1. Tonight we come to you live from the sprint car capital of the world. Up first is the RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds, then we'll follow it up with the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modifieds live right here from the virtual Knoxville Raceway. Brett Wheeler joined alongside Zach Chapman as Zach. Well, welcome back to Ultimate Dirt TV and welcome back to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's good to be alongside you once again, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for letting me sit in here with you, Brett, tonight. I always enjoy doing this, and you do an amazing job. So getting to sit in with you, I get to learn a lot, and hopefully I can carry it over to my own thing one day.
All right, well, we are 1 minute into the 2-minute qualifying session here. We've got a field of 26 drivers on hand to tackle this big half-a-mile of a racetrack. Like I said, the sprint car capital of the world, the home of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. As we get set, we've got 21 drivers at the moment that have taken time and make that, in fact, 28 cars. So we're going to see 4 heat races on the program for tonight. There'll be 6 laps in distance. Top 4 will go through to the main event. Everybody else will go through to the consolation race. But more importantly, after qualifying, it's going to be the inversion of 4. So the first 4 fastest qualifiers are going to find themselves starting from that 4th position. So they've got a lot of work to do, and well, I tell you what, looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. As right now, for the moment, we've got Isaac Salas with a 19.269. He's almost got a 10th on the competition. He's got it back to Brandon Templeton, Anthony Morano, and Kurt Schatz, and well, Blake Chapman rounds out the top 5. What are you saying, Zach?
Well, you said it yourself, man. A 10th, you know, in racing, that's one thing, but in a fixed setup where everybody's running the same thing, man, that's really impressive. That's a heck of a lap for Isaac, and it earned him 5 bonus points tonight.
Well, there you go, as we get ready for what is heat race number 1 here tonight from the virtual Knoxville Raceway. Logan Wentz lines up the 18 machine from position number 1. Kelly Wheeler rolls off the 11 machine from position number 2. We go back to the second row inside from position number 3 with the 20 car of Blake Chapman. And fastest qualified tonight, Isaac Salas rolls off the 5 machine from position number 4. Dan McLaren rolls off the 88 machine from position number 5. That's a new paint job for Dan McLaren. And the 79 car of Dean Reynolds goes to the 6th starting position with Anthony Vitale lining up the 321 out of position number 7. Well, I think we are ready to go 1 to green right now, but well, I tell you what, the opening week of this spring season, what are you liking so far this season? Or what are you liking so far this week, I should say, Zach?
You know, it's been a lot of good racing, and Isaac Salas has been fast in everything this week. And, you know, Brett, I forgot, it's his birthday today, so I look for him to carry it over and have some birthday luck here tonight.
We'll see what he can do. So big happy birthday to Isaac Salas. We'll wait for the iRacing green flag to come out. Oh, sorry, Craig Plater. Green flag is out. Kelly Wheeler got a good launcher on the outside of the front row, and as does Isaac Salas. He'll now look to the outside of Logan Wentz through turn number 1 and 2. McLaren and Chapman had a bit of contact there in the middle of 1 and 2. Meanwhile, I'm going to say, Zach, that outside row from 2nd, 4th, and 6th position. Now Dean Reynolds, he's found his way to a transfer position. They're looking to go 2, 4, 6. They're looking to go 1, 2, 3 there on the opening lap.
Yeah, it seemed like the contact on the bottom really opened up the top. They got a bunch of spots, but Isaac's being aggressive. He keeps looking down low, and meanwhile, that 79's coming behind him for 2nd place.
Well, challenges on for the race lead. Kelly Wheeler holding on to the number 1 position, but boy, that's the birthday boy, Isaac Salas. Fastest qualifier here tonight, looking to go from 4th to position number 1. Look at the 20 car, Blake Chapman. He had a good look on the inside of Logan Wentz and Dean Reynolds through turn number 1 and 2. Salas is going to work it down to the low side once again into turn number 3 and 4. But Kelly Wheeler's just got the momentum on the outside, and here comes Salas up for car in at this half a 10th as they work and complete lap number 3. Little slider attempt coming out by Salas. No laser lane on the outside for Wheeler to go back to the outside.
Yeah, kind of surprised Isaac didn't really throw it in there and shut the door. I thought he had the room, but he was a little conservative. If he can get a good run down the front stretch here after this contact, he's going to throw it in here.
Salas, the left front, just catching the inside berm, slides it up. Kelly Wheeler sees that coming, turns that 11 back to the inside as they'll drag race down into turn number 3. Penultimate time here in heat race number 1 as there goes Wheeler, slides up, and you've seen Salas. He got on the binders pretty early, got off the gas and just set that car up for the exit of turn number 4, and Isaac Salas is going to lead that lap here with 1 lap left to go. Salas and Wheeler battling it out for the top 2 positions. Reynolds and Wentz, but this battle for the race lead is on down into turn number 3 and 4. Who's it going to be? Wheeler and Salas. It's going to be a drag race off for turn number 4. Who's it going to be? Oh boy, what a way to open up your Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Spring Season Week number 1. Let's take a look at the official results here coming up on screen. Getting the win is going to be Isaac Salas by 32 one-thousandths of a second over Kelly Wheeler, Dean Reynolds and Logan Wentz will come over your top 4. Those 4 drivers locking into the main event. Blake Chapman, Dan McLaren, Anthony Vitale will go to a B main. Zach, heat race number 2. You want to lead the lineup?
Yeah, it's starting on the pole. We got 2 guys actually in this league to share a birthday. This is Mr. Kevin Fry's birthday, so happy birthday to the guy on the pole, Kevin Fry in the 21. Sorry about the dog in the background. Starting second, the 083 of Dylan Kinsey. Inside of row number 2 in the 107 is Samuel Bachman. Outside of row number 2 in the 31 is Brandon Templeton. Inside of row number 3 is going to be Joe Canellis. Outside in the 97 is going to be Butch Baker. And rounding out the field for heat number 2 is going to be Jake Henry in the 171.
There we go, heat race number 2 lineup here for the RSN trackside 358 modifieds. Boy, wouldn't this be a front row if we had the birthday boys in Isaac Salas and Kevin Fry on the front row for tonight's 30-lap main event.
Yeah, it really would be something. It'd be neat if Kevin could pull that off. Got to root for them guys.
All right, safety car is in. Kevin Fry, Dylan Kinsey going to bring us to the start-finish line here on the front straightaway. Green flag is out in the very, very late iRacing green flag being thrown by Barney as we are underway and we're through turn number 1 and 2. Kevin Fry leading the way back to Dylan Kinsey. Samuel Bachman now's got Brandon Templeton having a good look on the outside. And, well, after what we just seen, it's hard to predict whether that top side is going to be so dominant, especially come later on in tonight's main event. Dylan Kinsey going to try and work it down to the inside, down into turn number 1 and 2. A little bit of contact there. Fry does turn it back underneath him. So you race once again. Zach is on for the race lead.
Yeah, Fry having to work hard for that. Wouldn't really clear on that slider yet, but, little contact, no harm, no foul. But we'll have to see if Kevin can go back here and give it to him as they rub going down the front stretch, Brett.
Yeah, Kevin Fry going to return the favour into 1 and 2, but Dylan Kinsey again, just like what Kevin Fry done there on the previous lap. Kinsey's going to look down to the inside. Now it's his turn to throw the slider down into 3 and 4. I've got to say, with how tacky this racetrack is, I've got to say, it's nice to see an update that's refreshing to see a couple of different lines. Kevin Fry going to lead that lap as it's 3 down, 3 to run. Samuel Bachman all over the back of Dylan Kinsey, almost pushing him down the back straight. But now Bachman moves up the racetrack as here goes Kinsey with a slider on Fry. Fry's going to turn it underneath, and there's Bachman to the inside. Here comes Templeton to the outside, but Dylan Kinsey's going to lead that lap 2 to run.
Yeah, with Fry trying to, contact for the lead as Fry's going to feed him the door and take it back. It really hurt Samuel Bachman the lap before when Fry tried to turn under, and Bachman did the good thing and hit the brakes there, but fell back to 6th. That's going to really hurt him.
Yeah, Bachman at the moment, he'll have to find his way from the consolation race, but the white flag is out. 1 lap left to go. Kevin Fry just going to find a way for the 2 final left-hand turns to start on the outside and to make it an all-birthday front row in tonight's 30-lap main event as they'll work it into 3 and 4. Kevin Fry doesn't look all that settled there. Kinsey looks to the inside, but no, for the second time tonight, the birthday boy is going to get the win in heat race number 2. We'll take a look at your results as they come up on screen right now. Kevin Fry gets the win over Dylan Kinsey in second. Brandon Templeton, Jake Henry. I think that's both heat races where the top 4 are separated by less than 4/10 of a second. So this track at the moment is providing to be some pretty juicy racing. Baker, Bachman and Canels will all be headed to a B main as we get set for heat race number 3. John Morano in car number 33 lines up alongside Patrick Spangler for Training Wheels Racing in the 39 machine from position number 2. Gavin Chatham in the 99 rolls up at a position number 3. Anthony Morano lines up the 32 machine from position number 4. Randall Dixon pilots the 011 machine from position number 5, and the Team RWB number 7 entry of Bob DeGood will start from position number 6 with Brian Dickens, I should say, in the dirt track bank number 122 machine. He'll go to the 7th starting position. Who you liking in this one? It's hard to not go by the 32 car of Morano.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That Murano is always good, but Patrick Spangler starting front row on that outside. I really like Patrick's chances in this heat.
Well, last time we done these predictions, you absolutely kicked my backside, so we're not going to do them this. We're not going to do them tonight. I'll let you have the victory. Green flag goes out. John Morano looking to slide up, but here goes Patrick Spangler from that outside of the front row. John Morano again works back to the inside. Here comes Anthony Morano as they'll go 3-1 with Gavin Chatham on the inside. It's 3 wide down the front straight away there. Second, third, fourth on screen, trying to run down the 39 car of Patrick Spangler. But boy, I tell you what, here comes Anthony Morano in that number 32 machine. Now he tries to size up the 39 car. Patrick Spangler down into 3 and 4. Spangler driving a little higher in the middle of 3 and 4. And boy, he's got those tires right in the marbles.
Yeah, he was up there trying to blow the dust off, man. We haven't seen anybody that high yet, but it looks like it's paying off for him on corner exit as Morano's really not able to make any time on him on exit. He dives in there and makes a lot up on entry, but, man, Patrick Spangler gets a heck of a run off the corner.
Well, halfway home here in heat race number 3 of 4. We'll have a consolation race followed by the warm-up session and then our 30-lap main event to kick off this Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Spring Season Week number 1 here from the Knoxville Raceway. There'll be 2 to run for the 39 car for Training Wheels Racing. That's the 39 entry of Patrick Spangler. John Morano caught a good piece of the guardrail there on the exit of turn number 4. Gavin Chatham had to take evasive action. Chatham slides up in front of John Morano and Bob DeGood right there, lurking in position number 5. And I'll tell you what, Bob DeGood, John Morano, they're going to have a nice little battle here on the final lap for that final transfer spot.
Yeah, Bob DeGood's improved a lot over the last couple seasons, and he's going to put the heat on John there for that last transfer spot. He knows anything can happen in that B main. Got to race your way in right now.
Speaking of trying to race your way in, as they work down the back straightaway, racing their way into turn number 3 and 4 for the final time. Anthony Morano going to have a good look on the inside, but I think the exit speed is going to hurt that 32 car. Patrick Spangler and Anthony Morano. Gee, second finish here tonight where we've seen a finish coming to the line. Be less than 1/10 of a second. I'll wait for the official results to come up on that one, but Patrick Spangler is going to be confirmed your winner in heat race number 3. He'll get the win by 81 1/1000 of a second over Anthony Morano, Gavin Chatham, and John Morano going to lock himself into your A main. Bob DeGood, Brian Dickens, and Randall Dixon to make up the 7 cars. Zach, heat race number 4. Your lineup is
The inside, I know row number 1 is going to be James Bond in the 007, Michael Vecchio. Outside of him in the 513, Jeffrey Barker. Inside of row number 2 is going to be the 518 of Joseph Grandy. Outside, the 218 of Kurt Schatzer. Inside of row number 3 is going to be the 833 of Matt Schaefer. And on the outside, the Canadian Alex Pomerleau in the 397. Rounding out the field is going to be BJ Boydell in the 014.
all right. Well, you know what? Who's your money on this one?
Oh, man. All right, this one, for being honest, this one's a little tougher. Like, the other ones, I picked fairly fast. This one's tougher. The bottom started to come back in, so I think you got to watch for Jeff Barker if he can clear him in the first 2 corners. I think the 513 is going to be real fast.
I'll keep it on the 218 of Kurt Schatzer, but right now Michael Vecchio, Joseph Grandy got a good start there on the 518 as he's now going to climb up all over the left rear of Michael Vecchio, but here comes Barker with a run on the outside. Kurt Schatzer going to follow in suit down into turn number 3 and 4. First time in heat race number 4 for these drivers. 6 laps is on the board now. It'll be 5. So Jeff Barker going to lead that one, but again, Kurt Schatzer, the dirt track back, got your 6 Racing Network 218 car. We know that car has been super fast over the past 6 to 12 months here on our racing as we are. I think we've got the yellows.
Big wreck. Yeah, big wreck from Vecchio and Grandy. I think maybe Vecchio was a little upset from getting hit going into turn 1 on lap 1, and when he got more contact there, he wasn't going to give any room.
Well, right now it's the battle of Jeffrey Barker and Kurt Schatzer. Barker and that Team RWB 513 machine again leading the way. You'll see the cross flag sticks coming out. 3 down and 3 to run. There is Kurt Schatzer, Matt Schaefer, GJ Boydell from the back of the field. Schatzer sliding, not all the way up. He'll leave a lane forward. Jeffrey Barker, but Barker again is going to have the run of the moment on and the momentum off turn number 2 as they work it down into 3 and 4. There'll be 2 to run. The twin sticks out for the race leader of Jeffrey Barker.
Yeah, Jeff and Kurt, both great racers, but Barker's a very well-respected guy. It takes a lot to move him out of the way. People normally do it as a last resort, so you're going to see these guys race real clean and hard these last couple laps.
Well, Schatzer with a slider on Barker again. Barker will turn it back underneath that 218 machine into the even drag race down the front straight away. There was not a whole lot in it, maybe 25 one-thousandths of a second separating Jeffrey Barker and Kurt Schatzer. The white is out, white flag is out, and Kurt Schatzer with a big run off turn number 2 down into 3 and 4 for the final time. Barker's going to try and keep it glued to the low side of the raceway, but Kurt Schatzer is going to be victorious in heat race number 2 and leading it right to the very end to get the win in heat race number 4. And boy, we've got our 4 heat races done, which means we now move into our consolation race. Let's take a look at your results for what is heat race number 4. Kurt Schatzer over Jeffrey Barker, Matt Schaefer, GJ Boydell, those top 4 drivers transferring to the main event. Michael Vecchio, Joseph Grandy, Alex Pomelo will make up the 5th, 6th and 7th drivers in this one as we get set now for your consolation race. It is going to be 12 cars, and I think we should be taking the top 8, but Blake Chapman and Butch Baker will make up positions number 1 and 2. We go back to the second row. Bob DeGood starts inside of the 007 machine of Michael Vecchio. That's your 3rd and 4th starting positions. Dan McLaren in the 88 rolls up at a position number 5. Samuel Buckman in the 007 machine lines up at a position number 6. Brian Dickens at 122 goes to position number 7. Joseph Grady puts the 518 machine from position number 8. We go back to the final 2 rows. You've got Anthony Vitale at a position number 9. Joe Canellis in the mission at 22, number 1 entry to position number 10. Randall Dixon in the 011 from 11, and the 397 of Alex Pomelo from position number 12. The iRacing.com Steve King Foundation safety car is in. We're ready for a start. 8 laps on the board. Top 8 will go through. 4 of them getting sent packing. Green flag is out. Butch Baker in the 97. It's nice to see Butch Baker come up with a new paint scheme. Instead goes Bob DeGood in the 7 car.
Yeah, no cautions in the consies. I hate to almost be a fortune teller, but in Bob's heat race, I said how important it was getting in, that, anything can happen in the B, and then there he goes, lap 1 for Bob.
Well, previous seasons we've seen that KISS 97 entry of Butch Baker being very, very quick, and now got the new paint job on that car. Dan McLaren again seeing a couple of new paint schemes this season for spring season. You know what? It's nice to see Michael Vecchio in the 007. He gets turned around. He'll have to go back and settle for position number 11 if he gets that car back going again. But watching right there, Butch Baker, Dan McLaren, nose to tail down the back straightaway, just to the right of your screen. Joseph Grandy, Samuel Bachman make up your top 5. Anthony Vitale, Brian Dickens, and Joe Canellis in that the blue number 1 for mission 22 entry. He has got that 8th and final transfer spot, but Blake Chapman leading the way. 3 down, 5 to run, Zach.
Yeah, Joe is going to have a lot of heat on him. Alex Pomerleau really knows how to wheel these things, and Randall Dixon's not too shabby either, so he definitely doesn't have that 8th spot locked down. We're going to have a lot going on before this race is over, but man, they're really battling hard for second right now.
Yeah, McLaren put a slider there on Butch Baker into turn number 1, but again, Baker works at 97 back to the inside, down into turn number 3. Now it's his turn to return the slider, but again, doesn't clear it all the way up, and then McLaren puts the 88 to the outside of the 97. Here comes Joseph Grady in that 518 machine. Now he'll get to the 3/4 of the way up the racetrack. Samuel Bachman trying to use the cutback line as Grady gets into the back of Baker. Baker goes around. Bachman. Oh boy, Butch Baker in the 97 car. And now that'll put Randall Dixon. Samuel Bachman back to position number 8. But boy, Randall Dixon, he goes from the outhouse to the in-house with 2 to run.
Yeah, I was just about to say for Bush, that's a tough deal. I was surprised him and Dan McLaren were racing that hard for second. They're teammates. I was kind of wondering why he didn't just slot in line behind Dan and, just stay in the transfer spot. But you're going to see that's really going to cost him now.
And it's always important to make sure you put yourself in a good spot in the main events right now. Blake Chapman is already down the back straightaway for the final time in B main competition here at the Knoxville Raceway. McLaren going to slide it from the middle. In fact, he's going to stay mid-track as they work it off turn number 4. Checkered flag is out, and congratulations, race is done here for the RSM Trackside 358 modifieds here at the Knoxville Raceway. Again, we'll wait for the official confirmation for your finishing result before we move into our warm-up session, where, of course, which we will, of course, take a break through that one. But again, we'll just wait for those final couple of cars to come across the start-finish line, get the checkered flag from Barney the R-Racing flagman. As well, here it is. Blake Chapman gets the win over Dan McLaren. Joseph Grandy, your top 3. Anthony Vitale, Brian Dickens, your top 5. Joe Canellis, Randall Dixon, and Samuel Backman managing to hold on to position number 8. Those 8 drivers going to the show front. Unfortunately for Alex Pomelo, Bob DeGood, their nights, their 358 night is done, along with Butch Baker and Michael Vecchio. Well, with that being said, we'll take a quick break here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We'll come back with your main event on the other side of these quick commercial break. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Ultimate Dirt TV and to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It is your Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Spring Season Week number 1 here from the virtual Knoxville Raceway. Brett Wheeler joined alongside Zach Chapman as we get set for your main event. We'll take a look at your starting lineup, and well, it's going to be the birthday boys of Isaac Salas and Kevin Fry to make up the front row. We'll go back to row number 2. Patrick Spangler starts up alongside Kurt Schatzer. Then we look back to Kelly Wheeler alongside Dylan Kinsey in row number 3. Row 4 going to be John Morano alongside Jeffrey Barker. Dean Reynolds starts up alongside Brandon Templeton from positions number 9 and 10. Gavin Chatham and Matt Schaefer to make up the first half of the field, Zach.
In row, you want me to do the rest here?
Yeah,
Start
sure.
with Matt Schaefer? All right, cool.
Start from 38th.
Inside row number 7, we're going to have Matt Schaefer. Let me organize these a little bit better. It changed. Oh, wait, no, Matt Schaefer was 12. So Inside of row number 7 here, let's do this right. We're going to have Jake Henry in the 171, or Logan Wentz in the 118 on the outside, Jake Henry in the 171. Inside of row number 8, we're going to have the 033 of John Morano on the outside, the 014 of Greg Boydell. Inside of row number 9, we're going to have Blake Chapman in the 20. Outside of him, Soupy in the 88, Dan McLaren. Inside of row number 10, the 518 of Joseph Grandy. On the outside, Anthony Vitale in the 321. Inside of row number 11, Brian Dickens in the 122. Outside the number 1 of Joe Canellis. Inside of row number 12, rounding out the field, in the 011, Randall Dixon and Samuel Bachman in the 107. Yeah, sorry, the standings thing I use, man, it's always changing when they're passing each other on the track.
Yes.
I got to do live math.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's never good when they keep on chopping and changing. All right, here we go. Week number 1 of the Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder spring season for 2024. RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds here tonight from the Knoxville Raceway. Main event time, we get dirty for 30 here at the Knoxville Raceway. Isaac Salas is going to slide it right to the middle of the raceway up for turn number 2. He's going to lead by half a car length over Patrick Spangler. Kurt Schatzer looking to the inside there on the 21 car of Kevin Fry. But boy, Patrick Spangler very good on the low side. And Patrick Spangler, Zach, did you expect Patrick Spangler to lead lap number 1?
No, definitely not. But Anthony Morano, they were talking a little bit there in warm-ups. He showed him how to run the bottom there at the end of the heat. Anthony made that race real close for the finish. And now Isaac's going to try the same thing in 3 and 4, but he's going to float up to the middle. He's not going to get the pull off that Patrick did on the bottom.
I tell you what, I'd be scratching my head right now knowing that, you went to the bottom side and, if we get a yellow, maybe you could touch on that as a driver as to why he may have gone back to the top side of the racetrack. Now he'll go back low down into turn number 3 and 4, so he's in the first 3 laps, he's changed up his lines. Schatzer, Fry got into the back of him. Schatzer kept it going. Fry backed out of it, and we stay green right to the guardrail. Goes Spangler and Salas, but yellow is out here. As we've got Brandon Templeton, and boy, I've got to say that the last couple of months, that 31 car Brandon Templeton, he's been quick, but boy, he has just had no luck whatsoever.
No, it seems like every time there's an accident, he gets involved in it somehow. And I'm hearing Jeff Barker coming over the race chat. He definitely came up on Templeton a little bit. He's apologizing. So, I mean, nothing Brandon could have really done other than maybe back out as he sees him come up. But Barker gets loose, and nothing really can do that quick.
All right, now let's go back to that question I was going to ask you. Put yourself in the race car for the moment. All right, you start inside that second row. You get to the bottom of 3 and 4. You take over the race lead. Why do you go to the top in 3 and 4 then the very next lap?
So I think you're going to see Patrick do it again here, and that 32 is going to follow him. 32 is probably even better at it than Patrick is. He's one of the best bottom feeders in this league. Before these things get up to full song, it takes them at least 3/4 of a lap to really get up to speed. So right away in that first turns 1 and 2, you want to go the shortest way possible, but make sure you don't get any wheel spin. So if they hug that berm down there, there's enough tack that they're okay to stay in the gas as long as they enter correctly. And they make all that speed back, and it seems like from looking at the track, it looks real slick on the bottom of 3 and 4, but you saw Isaac and Patrick, they both like the bottom. So maybe the top's a little rough right now, and they like the slider line in 3 and 4. Maybe that's what's behaving best for the cars.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, we go on board right now with Patrick Spangler just to get a good look at the racetrack right now as they line up again. They'll be 2 by 2 behind the iRacing.com and Steve King Foundation safety car. And I say that the bottom looks pretty tough in the middle of 1 or 2. You get that slick line that's just widening up, which forces the guys to either go mid-track or just prior to that yellow coming out. Both Spangler and Salas, they were right up on the cushion, right up near that guardrail. And I say 3 and 4, it looks like it's a lot more tackier in the middle of 3 and 4 than what 1 and 2 is. So keep an eye on that one as we get set to come back to green. Patrick Spangler going to bring him to the green flag once again off turn number 4. We are racing in the main event. 4 down and 26 to go, Zach.
Yeah, just like I said, Isaac's going to be smart too. He's going to go down on the bottom, make sure block that 32 off since Patrick cleared him. Make sure he can protect second. They're going to run the bottom here, and then I imagine Isaac's going to float back up top because Kurt Schatzer's coming hard for third, it looks like, up top.
Spangler, Salas, and Morano. 1, 2, and 3. Morano going to drive it down to the inside on Salas, but Salas gets the momentum on the exit at turn number 2 and drives back by that Full Throttle Motorsports number 32 machine. Salas, and along with Spangler again, will go yellow. They both stay to the bottom, but Spangler was a lane higher than what Salas was, so this driver's having a couple of different lines here in the opening 5.5, make that 6 laps as we go under yellow flag conditions again. I think that might have been Kelly Wheeler in the 11 car. Had a bit of help with the 79 car of Dean Reynolds off turn number 2. It's exactly what it was. Just a slight bit of rear bumper to front bumper contact, and so Wheeler gets out of that one. Other than the spin of the car, no damage to that number 11 machine, but we'll tag up to the back of the field. What are you seeing in the first 6 laps, Zach?
Just, not to like call anybody out, but a long race, there have been a couple accidents where, we've seen guys, trying to come down, cut people off early on, and, while that isn't cool, you really shouldn't be using your mirror blocking, cutting lines like that. It's, in the same token, real early in the race, just lift if you're the guy behind them. You want to live to race another day, and if you're clearly faster than them, you'll get around them a lap or 2 later. You don't want to, put yourself in a position like Brandon did. He kind of really wasn't his fault, but if he could have just cracked the throttle and Jeff could have saved it and gotten the wall himself, he probably would have passed him going down the straightaway. So it's a fine line between aggression and smart racing, and I definitely find myself more on the aggressive part than the smart racing, and it gets me into a lot of trouble. So it's real easy to have a level head up here, and it's a lot harder when you're in the car.
Yeah, absolutely. I think back to last week. I was running the 360 sprint car in a league race, and I'd actually come from, I think, 7th or 9th in the B main to finish 2nd. And lap 1, I get taken out, and safe to say that I wasn't happy about that because it was a 40-lap feature, and when you're sitting up here, it's easy to be calm and say, oh, maybe you should have done this, or maybe you should have done that. But I tell you what, as well as I do, when you're out on the racetrack, you know that emotions can fly.
Yeah, they really can, especially after getting a block at 100 mile an hour, Brett.
Absolutely. Green flag is back out here for your RSN Trackside 358 modified main event. Morano had a good look on the inside of the 5 car of Isaac Salas as they work it down to the back straightaway. Keep it on the 218 machine of Kurt Schatzer. He'll slide it from the middle to 3/4 of the way up on the race straight. Now tucks in line behind the number 5 car of Isaac Salas as Morano now. Here we go on by into turn number 1 and 2. Gavin Chatham coming through the field of the 99 car as well. Morano does move to position number 2. Salas gets shuffled back to position number 3. And I'm sure Salas would love to pick up a win on his birthday. But boy, you've got 23 other drivers that are trying to spoil the party. Schatzer and Chatham work it side by side down into 1 and 2. Kevin Fry to the back of Chatham keeps it going. Fry backs out of it 3 wide. Wentz, Fry and Chapman now working just in front of the 83 car of Dylan Kinsey. And then you got the top 10 car of Dean Reynolds in the 79 machine. But that challenge is slowly starting to happen for the race lead. Morano closing in on the back of the 39 car of Patrick Spangler down into 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's definitely catching him, but you know what they say, man. Catching him's one thing, passing's another. He's either going to have to give him the bumper and move him up out of that line because that's where he's quickest too, or he's going to have to try to hook it up outside. And their best friend right now, especially Isaac's best friend, is Kurt Schatzer. He is dedicated to that top, and he is staying in 4th. So as soon as he starts making any headway, you're going to see Isaac go up there and try to take advantage. Caution's out.
Yeah, Joseph Grandy, Brendan Templeton again. Second time Brendan Templeton is involved in something, and I dare say again, if we look at an instant replay, not to his doing, 4 wide, and it all started with Joseph Grandy just catching a piece of the guardrail there on the exit of turn number 4. Unfortunately, like I said, we just had a moment where they come 4 wide off turn number 4. Unfortunately, a number of cars coming involved in that little incident there on the entry down into turn number 1, just at the end of the front straightaway. But getting these drivers who will go back in, they'll be able to get their cars fixed if they've got a fast repair still remaining. I believe they should have, is it 1 fast repair for the night?
Yeah, 1 per race, but I would imagine after that first wreck, Brandon Templeton probably used his. So hopefully the wheels are straight, because I doubt he's got anything left in that.
Yeah, well, he would have used his on lap, what was it, lap 3, maybe 4, something like that on one of the previous
Yeah,
yellows.
because Barker getting him in the wall, that was a pretty tough hit. I can't imagine he didn't use a quick repair.
Yeah, so keep an eye on the 31 car. And like I said, he's been quick, but well, I tell you what, for a man that is pretty quick, he's just been unable to put those nights together. A lot of bad luck coming for that 31 car. And I go back to when I first started covering the coast to coast, I want to say about a year ago, or about 9 months ago, something like that. He was one of those cars that you would find consistently up the front, then all of a sudden he just gets that luck of, or that bad run of bad luck, and sometimes it's hard just to shake it off, and it almost like you just get yourself in a rut, and you just sometimes you can't get out of it.
No, yeah, you know, a lot of that is psychological too, because you just like you try to overcompensate with aggression, kind of there, like Grandy did whenever they got 4 wide. The car was slow ahead of him, and instead of just backing out and leaving him go 3 wide ahead of him, you force the issue when you've been having a couple bad runs, and you try to get all those spots at once, and it just gets you into more trouble. So, like you said, and you know, like I was saying earlier, it is really easy to be calm and cool and think logically up here, but man, it's so dang hard in that car, Brett, as we're off here on the hopefully the final restart, 20 to go.
So it's going to be the 39 car of Patrick Spangler again, leading the way to Salas. Going to have some company with Kurt Schatzer. He's tried the middle at turn number 1 and 2. And I think Salas has found the top there, right there in turn number 1 and 2. We'll see what it's like in 3 and 4. We'll see if we can get around the outside of the 32 car of Anthony Morano. But Morano, too good on the bottom side. I think 3 and 4 is way too good. So maybe top 1 and 2, bottom 3 and 4 is going to be the place to be. And speaking of going up top, we're seeing your race leader, Patrick Spangler, go upstairs into 1 and 2. Salas just at the end of the back straightaway. Had a little piece of that guardrail. Chatham goes to the inside of Schatzer. Then you go back to Logan Wentz. Blake Chapman coming through in this one and move Gavin Chatham to position number 4 now. And now your top 3 go upstairs.
Yeah, wow, there's stuff going on all over this track. I mean, Isaac clearly, you know, he's the birthday boy, but right now he is the 3rd fastest car, so he's got to go up there and try to figure something out. But, man, he's just not finding speed. I think we have the winner out of these front two, is every time Anthony gets a long green flag run, he starts to creep up on this 39 here.
Speaking of Morano in the 32 car, he was the fastest car on the racetrack by a 1/10 of a second, 19.852. He was a 1/10 quicker than Patrick Spangler with a 19.950. We'll see what it's like this time by here on the front straight away. Isaac Salas now the fastest car there. He picked up of a 1/10 of a second. So, boy, they're chopping and changing who's faster on the laps as they work it down into 3 and 4. We're now into the back half of this feature event. Jake Henry in the 171 car. He could play a factor here as we watch your top 3. Patrick Spangler, Anthony Morano. They'll go down to the low side into 1 and 2. Isaac Salas, he'll work it to the top side. Cuts it back through the middle there on the exit of 10 of 2. And he's found the line here at the Knoxville Raceway.
Yeah, we all knew the top was going to come back in, and I think it is starting to come back in. So if Isaac ends up getting a big run here out of 2 the next time by, he was Kurt Schatzer a big Christmas gift because he's worn this thing in all by himself. And, you know, you can't blame Jake Henry in the 171 here for racing the leaders. If he gets a quick caution, he stays on the lead lap. He's doing what he's got to do to stay on the lead lap.
And the good thing about that as well is, you know, he's not chopping and changing one. They'll go 3 wide. Lap car on the outside. He's holding his line on the outside. Spangler shut the door there on Morano. And now Salas is going to come through the middle, but Jake Henry gets around the outside. We'll see what he does with Spangler. We'll see if Jake Henry stays up on the top of the racetrack. That he does. So it's the perfect lap car right there. Morano to the low side. Salas trying to come through the middle of the raceway. Jake Henry again just holding his line, doing exactly what a lap car should do. And Isaac Salas now stuck behind the 171 car. He needs to make quick work of Jake Henry if he's had any sort of chance at running down Morano and Spangler for those top 2 positions. But it's not going to matter because Henry's going to go to the back because we've got a yellow with what will be 10 to run.
Brandon Templeton again. Poor guy.
That's 3.
Rough night for him.
That is 3. And, well, all right. So we look at a replay here. I think he just come off the guardrail and just sort of come down into Anthony Vitale. Well, you know what? It almost looked like with that camera angle that I was just watching there. As he sort of come down, Vitale was moving up the track. So you could almost put that one to a racing incident. But again, Brandon Templeton, that's 3 cautions he's been involved in.
I think he's going to have to put that thing in the hauler.
Well, Brandon Templeton will go back to the pits, and I think his night is actually done and dusted. So, but now with that lap car out of the way, Zach, it's going to change everything because we've seen the line that Salas was running. Spangler decided to go upstairs and try to in 1 and 2, and again they go back to the bottom of 3 and 4, and it's going to make it a little tougher for Isaac Salas because he's going to have to wind this thing up. It's probably going to take him 2 or 3 laps to, like I said, to get these cars fully wound up, and then he's going to have to make his moves. So even if it takes, let's just say 3 laps, then he's only got 8 laps left to get by 2 cars.
No, yeah, for sure. I think the big benefit here is Patrick Spangler hangs out with Isaac and the Venom guys in Discord during these races. So I imagine Isaac's going to get a countdown here, and Patrick, exactly what he wants right now is those 2 cars racing behind him. So he's going to give every advantage he can to Isaac Salas here to get a racy, get a hard race battle for second place, and Patrick can look to just walk away with this thing and hope it stays green.
All right, we'll see what happens with 10 laps left to run. 2/3 of this race is complete. Green flag is out. We're back underway in tonight's main event. The RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds, and look at that, your top 3. 1 runs the bottom, 1 runs the middle, 1 runs the top side through turn number 1, and now here comes Salas with a run on Morano. You know Morano's not going to give up the bottom side in 3 and 4. The left front there of Patrick Spangler just caught that inside berm there. You see Morano, he looks a whole lot better right now off turn number 4, but here comes Salas again. Spangler and Salas going to go upstairs. Morano takes over the race lead in the middle of turn number 1 and 2, and here comes Spangler back to the outside. Your top 3 nose to tail down into 3 and 4. They'll come to 8 laps left to run, and Patrick Spangler going to run the slider line in 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's going to come back to haunt him. He really overdrove that, and Anthony's really good here in 1 and 2. He's going to look to maybe clear him as Patrick gets in the wall. I don't know. It's going to be close here.
Gee, what a gift. Spangler has just given Morano 3 wide for the race lead down through turn number 3 and 4. Spangler upstairs, losing some momentum and ground, and right now I bet he's probably kicking himself, but he's going to try and make it work on the top of turn number 1 and 2. Back to the outside of Salas he goes, but Salas with a run. Here they work it down into turn number 3. Anthony Morano leading the way. Spangler again. He's not going to die wondering right now as they work it off turn number 2, and the battle is on right now between Spangler and Salas. And like I said, the race leader is loving this one at the moment. That's Anthony Morano. Spangler, boy, that cushion was good in turn number 1 and 2, Zach.
Yeah, just bouncing it off, but enough to pick up some speed. But I think Patrick is really just overdriving the entry of 3 there. He loses a lot of time in the middle of the corner before the tires start to grab. But Gavin Chatham's loving this, Brett. He is all of a sudden in the picture, looking underneath Isaac Salas for 3rd here.
And have a look what Chatham is doing. He just rolls the bottom all the way around the Knoxville Raceway. Bottom of 1 and 2, bottom of 3 and 4. He's just keeping those left side tires down in the moisture. They sometimes get a little piece of that inside berm, and now Spangler's going to go the slider line down into 1 and 2, really close up to the back of the 32 car of Anthony Morano. But by the time they come off turn 2 past the Brian Clausen Sweet Tower, it's back to nearly a 5/10 of a second lead for Anthony Morano. Spangler grabs the cushion not once but twice. Now that'll allow Isaac Salas to move on by for position number 2. And you know what? You'd hate to see it, but you'd love to see it at the same time. A caution with 3 to run could just change things.
Yeah, that would be perfect timing right now for Isaac. He'd have the 2nd spot and be able to go after Anthony. I think him and Patrick battled too long. Even if Isaac does turn out to be the faster car, he's just not going to have enough time to catch him here with 2 to go.
2 to run for your race leader, the 32 car of Anthony Morano for Full Throttle Motorsports. Salas, Spangler, and Gavin Chatham. Then you go back to Blake Chapman to make up your top 5. Kurt Schatz, Samuel Bachman, Dean Reynolds, Logan Wentz, Dylan Kinsey, your top 10. They work it off turn number 4, and the white flag is that we will finish this one here at the Knoxville Raceway in what will be less than half a mile past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame.
Battle for 2nd.
It's going to be Anthony Morano down into turn number 3 and 4 for the final time. He'll pick up the opening win of the season for the RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds. Salas and Spangler are going to go at it for 2nd and 3rd. It's going to be Isaac Salas to come home with the runner-up spot. Patrick Spangler in 3rd. And fireworks go off, and well, we've got fireworks on the infield, Zach, fireworks on the racetrack. Boy, what a way to kick off the RSN Trackside Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder 358 Modifieds.
Yeah, hell of a battle up front, but Samuel Bachman, he's got to be wondering if the fireworks are partly for him too. He gained 17 spots tonight. That's really impressive, coming from dead last in the field up to 7th. Good run for Sam.
Yeah, Blake Chapman as well, going up 12 positions from position number 17 to position number 5. So two of the biggest movers through the field. We'll take a look at your full field rundown right now. Anthony Morano gets the win. Isaac Salas home in second. Patrick Spangler comes home in third. We'll chat to those top 3 drivers here in a few moments' time. Gavin Chatham, Blake Chapman make up its up 5. Kurt Schatzer, Samuel Bachman, Dean Reynolds, Logan Wentz, along with Brian Dickens to round out your top 10. 11 through to 20th will look like this. Dylan Kinsey, Kevin Fry, Randall Dixon, Dan McLaren, Jeffrey Barker, your top 15. Matt Schaefer, 16th. Kelly Wheeler, Greg Boydell, Joseph Grandy, Anthony Vitale in position number 20. And then the final 4 drivers, John Morano, Joe Canellis, the last car on the lead lap. Jake Henry going a lap down, and Brandon Templeton, the only car to finish back in the pits, back to position at number 24. Well, it's time to go trackside right now. We'll chat to your top 3 as they ring in third place. First up, it's the 39 car of Patrick Spangler. And Patrick, congratulations on this third place finish here tonight. And boy, I got to say, you gave that one away.
Yep, not usually a modified guy, but usually I do good at like here in Lernerville, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And I was going to stick the bottom, and then I didn't know if the top was coming in 1 and 2. Started hitting 1 and 2, and then he just got under me when I drove it in too deep on 3 and 4, and tried getting it back, but those are the 2 best here in the modified, so I was happy to bring it home in third and save on the podium.
Where was a particular moment in the race where you thought, maybe I shouldn't have done that? Was it the moment in 3 and 4 where you just sort of overdrove it and you gave up the bottom side to Anthony?
Yeah, because I thought the top of 1 and 2 were coming in good, so then I hit the 1 and 2 up top, but then I just carried too much speed into turn 3. I didn't load up enough, and I just slid up out of the bottom group, and that's all Moreno needed.
Well, Patrick, congratulations on a third place finish here tonight. The Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder season opener for spring season week number 1 here on the RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds. Patrick, before we let you go and celebrate and get ready for the big blocks to come here very shortly, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 39 car.
Yeah, just you and Zach for the awesome broadcast each week. Rod for running the league, training with racing. Huge Exhibit Designs on the design, and Dad and Uncle back home watching.
There we go, Patrick Spangler home in position number 3. Zach, do you want to catch up with their runner-up driver?
Yeah, let's bring up the birthday boy here. Isaac Salas in the 5, able to battle out his teammate there for second those last couple laps. You think if you could have got a caution with 2 to go when you finally cleared Patrick, you would have had anything for Anthony, or no?
I don't know. We were so far through that race that it was kind of whoever could hit it more perfectly. I don't really know. The bottom was crazy fast in 3 and 4, so I mean it was whoever could get down there. But I made a couple early mistakes to not be down there early.
Yeah, it seemed like I don't know if you were just like fighting for a line, maybe just trying to get the middle to work, but the first 10 laps or so, man, you looked like you were really struggling, and then I think you fell back to like 4th, maybe just as low as 3rd, but as soon as those guys started doing their thing, you kind of got into your rhythm, and you hunted Patrick down pretty quick, but he was tough to get around since he was taking the high line from you.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I took too long to get back into the swing of things, and honestly, when you have some guys that can just absolutely pedal it around here, I mean, that's all it takes is just being out of the swing for too many laps, and from there it was a game of catch up. So I mean, hey, P2 out of it though. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, man, P2 to that, man, that's almost just as good as a win. I know it's tough for you because you want to win here on your birthday, but I know you got a bunch of people out there watching. I'm sure Gramps is probably watching you, rooting you on. So maybe if you pull out a win here in these big blocks, he'll get you another birthday present.
Hey, that's the goal, man. Give me a real race car. No, 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 I'm just kidding. But yeah, big thanks to those guys that are all watching and supporting. But thanks to the guys over at Venom Racing, Dean Super Dirt Car Series. It's always fun to hang out with them on Thursdays. Main and Race Designs, got your 6 Racing Network, RSN Trackside, Mission 22, Top Notch Trucking with my Gramps. So that's pretty sweet. And then, yeah, I mean, thank you guys for the broadcast too. So that's pretty sweet.
Well, hey man, glad to have you up here, and like I say, hopefully we're interviewing you again here in this next race. But good
Awesome.
luck,
Thanks,
kid.
Zach.
We're all rooting for you.
Awesome. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep, that's Isaac Salas in the 5 car, your second place finisher. We'll go ahead and bring up Anthony Morano here.
Well, Anthony, congratulations on the victory here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway. And boy, this 32 car was bad fast all night long. Were you surprised to see Patrick give up the bottom side late in that race?
It kind of looked like Patrick was starting to get the tires up maybe a little too hot or something. I think it was starting to come up in the middle of the corner, or maybe it was just hitting the inside berm a little bit, and that was messing him up. I'm not sure, but the second he moved up, I was like, all right, I'm going to definitely take that one and go. So it was a fun race. I kind of hoped to do a little bit better in my heat, but we'll take it, get all the points we can, moving on, and start doing the whole point racing thing real early this year.
But you're probably one of the best when it comes to working the bottom sides here on the iRacing.com service. How much focus do you put on that each and every week to make sure that when the track is like it was tonight, when there was a couple of different lines that you want to be comfortable on where you want to run on this racetrack?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I work on, especially like when we're still in practice or anything else like that, is the whole dragging the brake. That's like a main thing, and even with this last update, it seems to be more important than ever. So I work on that a lot, and I mean, that's usually what pays off the most, keep the car straight, so I'm a little bit faster on the bottom.
Well, Anthony, congratulations on the victory here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway to open up the season for the Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder for your RSN Trackside 358 Butterfied. Before we let you go, Anthony, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 32 car.
I thank my wife Sherry, teammates at Full Throttle Motorsports, Hi Mom Len, Super Dirt Car Series, MDI TV, Swan Speed, Expert Insulation, Brett, you for doing the broadcast, and everyone here at Coast to Coast.
Anthony, well done on the win. We'll look forward to seeing you back very shortly in the Big Block Modifieds.
Thanks, Brett.
There we go. Anthony Morano, your winner here tonight from the Knoxville Raceway for your RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds. We'll take this opportunity right now to step aside here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We'll come back with your Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modifieds live in about 5 to 10 minutes' time.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get be talking about it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Ultimate Dirt TV and to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's now time to finish up start race number 2 here on your Thursday Night Thunder Gambler Motorsports Spring Season Week number 1. We've just come off the RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds, and now our attention turns to the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modifieds. A field of 28 drivers have signed into the pit area for tonight. We'll see 4 heat races, the inversion once again of 4. 6 laps of distance, top 4 to the main event, then the consolation races. 8 lap will take the top 8 into your 30-lap main event. Brett Wheeler joined alongside Zach Chapman as we get set for heat race number 1. Your lineup is going to be like this. Dylan Kinsey. Don't know why that's showing Anthony Morano, but let's reload this. All right, Dylan Kinsey, Gavin Chatham will make up row number 1. Row 2 going to be Dan McLaren and Blake Chapman. Row 3, Alex Pomelo and Butch Baker and Michael Vecchio in that 4th and final row all by himself in this one. And well, Zach, Blake qualified fastest here, but he's going to have to do the hard work, and he's going to have to come from that 4th starting position.
Yeah, and, you know, Blake's one of those guys. Anthony Morano's really good at it. And, you know, this isn't Blake's car per se, but if you know how to run the bottom in dirt, you pretty much know how to run the bottom in any car, as long as you have the concept nailed down and the throttle control. And Blake really likes the bottom, so starting 4th is going to definitely hurt him, as he's going to want to get down there and throw a couple sliders for the win. But Blake's got a tough hill to climb with Dylan Kinsey and Gavin Chatham in the front row.
All right, here we go. The Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modifieds for spring season week number 1. We are green here off turn number 4, and the green flag is out for the opening heat race of the night, and it's going to be Dylan Kinsey, Gavin Chatham. They'll work it side by side down the back straightaway for the first time in heat race number 1. Who will lead the opening lap? Chatham to the outside on Kinsey as they work it off for turn number 2. But help me if I can actually watch the battle for the race lead. There goes Kinsey. Here comes Dan McLaren in that 88 machine, working also to the inside behind Kinsey, but Gavin Chatham, he's got the lead down the back straightaway.
Yeah, the bottom can be really effective, but they've got to be careful getting those left side tires on the berm. It'll really kill their entry speed. And you see him, Gavin, he cleared him now for the lead. He did a great job of pinching him on corner exit, wouldn't let Dylan float up to get any speed whatsoever, and that's how he was able to clear him. Took a couple laps, but got the job done.
I tell you what, Kinsey's got some company right now. Blake Chapman gets into the back of Dan McLaren. Here comes Alex Pomelo in that 397 machine. So the battle is on for the final transfer positions. They work it down into 3 and 4. Chapman goes to the inside on McLaren. Here comes Pomelo to the outside of Chapman as they work it side by side down into 3 and 4. This is your battle for the final 2 transfer spots, 3rd, 4th and 5th on your screen. Dylan Kinsey trying to run down Gavin Chatham, your race leader. 4 down, 2 to run, a mile around the Knoxville Raceway.
Yeah, it's never fun to do, but right now, you know, it seems to be a one-line track, and Blake cost himself by trying to pass for 3rd there. Now he went back to 5th. He's not done yet. We're here coming with 1 to go. He's going to try to get 4th, but, man, it's going to be tough.
Well, white flag is out for Gavin Chatham in the 99 machine, courtesy of the inversion. There goes Chapman to the inside of Pomelo as they work it into turn number 3. Pomelo's got the run on the outside. Chapman goes down to the inside. Boy, that 20 car is lightning quick. It was glued to the low side, and he's found his way to a transfer position. Gavin Chatham going to come away victorious in heat race number 1. We'll have to wait for the official results to come up, as here they are on screen. Gavin Chatham gets the win. Dylan Kinsey, Dan McLaren, Alex Pomelo is going to get it by 1/1000th of a second. Blake Chapman misses out by that margin. He'll go and he'll start on pole of your B main. Butch Baker, Michael Vecchio, those drivers also going to a B main. Zach, heat race number 2. Why don't you lead us off with the starting grid?
Man, boy, do these guys got some shoes to fill after that finish. That's unbelievable. One of the closest battles we've ever had here at Knoxville. But starting on the front row, the 513 of Jeff Barker. Outside of him in the 833 is going to be Matt Schaefer. The inside of row number 2 is going to be the 32 of Anthony Morano. On the outside, his dad in the 033, John Morano. Inside of row number 3 is going to be the 171 of Jake Henry. Outside, the 518 of Joseph Grandy. Rounding out the field tonight in the 713 is going to be Jacob Brown.
All right, so heat number 2 ready to roll off here at the Knoxville Raceway. Heat number 2 of 4, just like what we've seen in the RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds. Here in your Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modifieds, we're going to see 4 heat races, 6 laps in distance, top 4. So identical setup when it comes to racing here at the Knoxville Raceway. We've also got later on to come is the Pro Late Models, and then also the NASCAR. I think what have we got? Cup cars to finish up this 4-race program here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Lap number 1 is going to belong to Jeffrey Barker. Anthony Morano finding his way to the low side. In fact, sorry, it's the Xfinity cars. Later on, they'll take to the Phoenix Raceway. But right now, heat race number 2, Joseph Grandy, Jade Henry, they'll battle it out for positions 4 and 5 now as John Morano gets shuffled back to 6 and Jacob Brown right up at the tail end of the field.
Yeah, tough break for John, but he'll be able to race his way in through a consi here if we need one. John's always a good driver, and he races smart, normally keeps himself out of wrecks, which helps him prevail. But, boy, these front 3, man, you can put them under a blanket. They're nose to tail right now, Brett.
That indeed they are as we continue on heat race number 2. We're now to the back half of this one. Anthony Morano getting a run on the outside of Jeffrey Barker down into turn number 3. Morano mid-track, Barker just still content with rolling the bottom side of the racetrack. Just getting the car probably just a little too sideways right there towards the exit of turn number 4, and that allows the 32 car of Anthony Morano to close in. Dylan Kinsey as well in that 83 machine. He's right there sniffing at the rear bumper of that 32 machine. Penultimate time here in heat race number 2, and your battle is going to be on for the race lead off for turn number 4. Zach, we had a 1/1000th of a second in heat race number 1 for that 4th and final transfer position. This time it's for the top spot. Jeffrey Barker, Anthony Morano. Morano with a run off for turn number 2, the midway point of the back straightaway. They're dead even going down into turn number 3 and 4. Who's it going to be off turn 4? Morano, Barker on the inside, Morano on the outside. Oh boy, heat race number 2. Zach, you said heat 2 have got a lot of work to do.
Oh my God, Brett.
To live up to that expectation of heat race number 1. And I'm going to say heat race number 2 drivers, they certainly lived up to the expectation.
Man, I'll tell you what, you rewind that race and you put a gun to my head coming out of 4. I'm putting my life savings on Barker every time. I can't believe Anthony Morano wheeled that thing like that through 3 and 4 to steal that. What a race, man.
42/1000th of a second was Anthony Morano, the victor over Jeffrey Barker. Matt Schaefer, Joseph Grandy, your top 4. Jake Henry, Jacob Brown, John Morano to the B main. There you go. Heat number 3 lining up like this. Bob DeGood on pole position from position number 2. It's Randall Dixon. From position number 3, Brandon Templeton to the outside. From position number 4, it's Isaac Salas. Position number 5 with the 79 car of Dean Reynolds. And position number 6, Malachi Smith in car number 50 with Kelly Wheeler not making the call for this one. So just the 6 cars in heat race number 3. Zach, heat 1 and 2. Boy, what a heat race finishing we just had. What does heat race number 3 have?
With those guys in row 2 here as the green flag is out, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a similar finish. We got 2 hot guys in here, and we saw the bad luck Brandon Templeton was dealt in the first race tonight in the small box. He's going to be hungry to start up front to stay out of all that crap.
We'll see what the 31 can do. Just work on the inside. He's got Isaac Salas now. Going to peel to the outside in the 5 machine. Watching Randall Dixon hold on to position number 2. But out in front right now is the 7 car of Bob DeGood, your top 4. In fact, there's your top 6 on screen. So your entire field is in the picture right now, separated by about 1/8 of a second. Reynolds tries to go up in front of Malachi Smith, but Smith back to the outside. Just gets that car a little looser on the exit of turn number 4, much like to what Jeffrey Barker did in the back end of that second heat race of the night. But as they work it past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, Bob DeGood leads the way from Randall Dixon. Brandon Templeton to the inside on that 31 machine again, still not giving up that inside without a fight. Isaac Salas in that 4th and final transfer position. Salas, you know he wants to move forward. Templeton now to the race lead, gets by Bob DeGood, but DeGood fights back to the outside. There's 2 and a bit to run.
Yeah, Bob DeGood got really loose out of 4 on the previous lap here as Brandon Templeton looks to clear him, and that really cost him a lot of straightaway speed. Brandon was able to throw it into 1 and set up this move right here as Brandon completes the pass at the start-finish line.
But just like that, 2 laps ago, Isaac Salas was back in position number 4. He's found a way by the 11 machine of Randall Dixon, now looking to move by Bob DeGood for the runner-up position. And boy, that's essentially that position right there is 2 rows. So either position number 7 or position number 11 is where one of these 2 drivers are going to start, because we take the top 4. We're already in heat race number 3, and well, the bad luck entry on the Bad Luck 31 car of Brandon Templeton. Maybe the fortune has just turned around and maybe this is exactly what he needs. A little shot of confidence. Oh, Good and Salas come together there on the exit of turn number 4. Again, a very tight finish for heat race number 3. Let's take a look at the official results. Brandon Templeton gets the win over Isaac Salas, Randall Dixon, Bob DeGood just holding on to position number 4. Take a look at that over Dean Reynolds. 10/1000th of a second. Malachi Smith home in 6th, and of course Kelly Wheeler did not take to the green flag in heat race number 3. Zach, heat race number 4, lead us through the starting lineup.
Starting on the pole is going to be Jason Butterfield in the number 93. On the outside of row number 1 is going to be the 118 of Logan Wentz. Inside of row number 2 is going to be the 107 of Samuel Bachman. Outside the 321 of Anthony Vitale. Inside of row number 3 going to be the 39 of Patrick Spangler on the outside. Who let the dogs out? Joe Canellis in the number 1 car. Rounding out the field tonight in our last heat of the night is going to be G.J. Boydell in the 014.
That song, Who Let the Dogs Out, Barham, that was released about, what, 20 years ago?
Oh, man. All right, so I'm 32, right? Born in 91. And that came out, I want to say, when I was in kindergarten.
Okay.
So I was 6.
20 years.
Pretty close to 20 years ago, a little less.
All right, so, you know what, let's just call it 20 years ago.
Wait, no more, 25. I'm terrible with math.
Okay, all right. But, you know, let's just call it 20. All right, let's two decades. Have we found out who let the dogs out?
I think it was Joe Canellis.
All right, well, we'll see what he can do in the 1 car. In the Mission 22 entry is Jason Butterfield is going to lead him down through the middle of turn number 1 and 2. Logan Wentz still working back to the outside. It's a drag race down the back straightaway. Anthony Vitale finds his way to position number 3. Samuel Bachman in that 007 machine back to position number 4. The man that finished on the podium and featured in the podium for the RSN Trackside 358 modified, Patrick Spangler, struggling here in the 4th and final heat race of the night, but Jason Butterfield continuing to lead the way.
Yeah, definitely going to be a different track than what he was used to in that feature. Not as many guys were in this practice session because they were all in the 358 session, so this track was not as worn down, and this car takes a lot more throttle control, which is something you don't really need in the 358 as much. So Patrick definitely said this isn't his favorite car, and you're seeing it with this more powerful motor.
Butterfield, Wentz, Vitale, that's Anthony Vitale. Where's Michael Vitale? I haven't seen him this season. Albeit we're only on week number 1, so hopefully we see Michael coming back out this season sometime. But right now, Anthony Vitale holding on to position number 3. Samuel Bachman in that 4th and final transfer position. But it's all Jason Butterfield. It'll be 2 laps left to run.
Yeah, I think if Butterfield doesn't pull a Spangler here and he just holds his line, doesn't overdrive any corners, he should have this locked up. He's running a pretty good line, but boy, Logan Wentz, he's going to see what he can find up there in the marbles, but he just doesn't have the speed yet.
Well, there'll be 1 lap left to run here in the 4th and final heat race of the night here at the Knoxville Raceway. Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder. Spring season, week number 1, nearly 3 wide there for the minor placings here on the final lap. And boy, I tell you what, heat race number 4, they're trying to live up to the expectation of what we've seen there in the opening 3 heat races of the night. But boy, spoiling the party here in heat race number 4, Jason Butterfield victorious. Second will go to Logan Wentz. Anthony Vitale home in position number 3. 4th will go to Samuel Bachman. Rounding out your top 5 is going to be Patrick Spangler, Joe Canellis, and G.J. Boydell to come home in position number 7. Your 4th and final heat race of the night is done. And now, of course, we move to your consolation race. That is going to be 12 cars, 8 laps, top 8 will go through. Blake Chapman lines up the 20 machine to the pole position. Jake Henry lines up the 171 machine from position number 2. Dean Reynolds rolls up the 79 machine from position number 3. From 4, the 39 entry of Patrick Spangler. Position number 5 with the 97 car of Butch Baker to the outside, and the 713 entry Jacob Brown from position number 6. Malachi Smith, then car number 50, rolls up at a position number 7, and Joe Canellis lines up the 1 machine from position number 8. Michael Vecchio in the 007 entry lines up at a position number 9 in the Morano Racing number 33 car. John Morano will start position number 10. Then we go back to Kelly Wheeler. Didn't take a lap in heat race number 1, I think it was. He'll start from position number 11 and from position number 12 in the 014 car. It is G.J. Boydell. Greg Boydell lines up and looks like Kelly Wheeler once again not making it out for your consolation race. So that puts 11 cars, but there's still 8 laps on the board. And Zach, we're still taking the top 8. So unfortunately, 3 out of this 11-car field is not going to make tonight's A-main.
Yeah, and as much as it stinks to say, some familiar names in this B-main from the last B-main. So hopefully everybody keeps a cool head, stays calm and relaxed, and realizes, you got 8 laps to get this done, and 3 guys go home. You can't wreck on lap 1 here as the green flag's out, and Blake Chapman looks to lead them off here and hopefully clear Jake Henry in that 171 and walk away. That's what Blake wants anyway.
All right, well, heat races are done. We're now into your B main, the only consolation race for the Full Throttle Motorsports. Big block modifieds here for spring season number 1. Spring season for Gambler Motorsports, week number 1. Reynolds to the inside of Jake Henry, down into turn number 1 and 2. Henry's got the middle line, rolling off for turn number 2. Here comes Patrick Spangler. Butch Baker closing in on the back of the 79 car. Spangler goes to the outside. He'll work it to the top side through turn number 3 and 4, 3/4 of the way up the racetrack, and now pulls up alongside Dean Reynolds. Says, okay, Dean, I've got you covered. I'll take position number 3.
Yeah, Dean knows, hey, you don't have to get it all right away, but you might as well get a little comfort. Make sure you get away from people that you're not sure about, and it's a good, smart move, and it's time to go.
Time to go. Reynolds back to position number 3 there at the line. Spangler again going to try and work it right up near the guardrail fence, right up on the cushion. Not quite building up as much as what it did in the RSN trackside 358 modified. Spangler and Reynolds still go side by side. Baker all over the back of Reynolds through turn number 3 and 4, but he opts to back out of it and realizing that he probably doesn't have to do anything silly. And speaking of doing something silly, he does something silly and gets turned around. He's back to 9th, back to 10th, and well, Butch Baker goes from the inside to the outside, and now here goes Patrick Spangler. He's got the final transfer position.
Yeah, I think I have the benefit of voice chat, and I think Patrick Spangler was apologizing a little bit, but Butch came back over the mic and said that it wasn't his fault, so I think Patrick was going to slow down and give up his transfer spot, but once he heard maybe he got the apology, he was going to keep going, but nah, looks like he's just going to give up on the night.
Spangler pulls it down to the infield. His night is done here at the Knoxville Raceway for the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modifieds. Meanwhile, back up front, speaking of Full Throttle Motorsports, it's the 79 car of Dean Reynolds. Now he'll work it down to the low side, down into turn number 3 and 4, trying to get by Jake Henry. I think Blake Chapman, didn't he go fastest qualifier tonight in the Big Block Modifieds?
Yeah, he did, but like I say, Blake is one of those kids that, dude, he is lightning fast, anything you put him in, but sometimes when it becomes a train racetrack, he doesn't like to do that. He wants to find a way around. He knows he's quick and he wants to get around you, and he tried to run the bottom in the heat race, and you saw it cost him. And I mean, wow, he's in a class of his own in this consolation.
Absolutely a 2.3 second victory for Blake Chapman in the number 20 machine. Again, we'll take a look at your full field rundown here for the 11 cars that took to the racetrack. Let's take a look at those results. Blake Henry, a dominating victory here tonight in your consolation race. Jake Henry home in second, back to Dean Reynolds third. Malachi Smith in fourth. Jacob Brown gets up 5. Joe Canellis, Michael Vecchio, and Greg Boydell makes up the top 8. Unfortunately for Butch Baker, John Morano, and Patrick Spangler, well, the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modifieds main event will not be partaking in that one. Well, it's time to take a quick break here on Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We've got a 3-minute warm-up session, so now it's time for us to step aside, pay some bills, and come back and get ready for your main event on the other side of these quick commercial breaks. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Ultimate Dirt TV and on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, Gambler Motorsports, Thursday Night Thunder, Spring Season Week number 1 here on this Thursday evening. Good evening, race fans. Brett Wheeler joined alongside Zach Chapman as we get set for your Full Throttle Motorsports A main event. Let's take a look at your starting lineup. On the pole position in the 99 car, Gavin Chatham from position number 2, the 32 entry of Anthony Morano. Row number 2 to the inside, the 31, Brandon Templeton lines up at a position number 3. The 93, Jason Butterfield starts position number 4. Dylan Kinsey in the 83 starts position number 5. Jeffrey Barker in the 513 from 6. Isaac Salas in the 5 from position number 7. The 18 of Logan Wentz out of position number 8. Dan McLaren, the 88, out of position number 9. Matt Schaefer, in the 83, starts position number 10. And Randall Dixon will start position number 11. And Anthony Vitale to make up the first half of this field, Zach.
Starting on the inside of row number 7 is going to be the 397 of Alex Pomerleau. On the outside, the 518 of Joseph Grandy. On the inside of row number 8 is going to be the 7 of Bob DeGood. Outside the 107 of Samuel Bachman. Inside of row number 9, and the man who walked away with the consolation race, we'll have to keep an eye on him for Hard Charger tonight, see if he can make his way up through the field. The 20 of Blake Chapman on the outside, the 171 of Jake Henry. On the inside of row number 10 in the 79 is going to be Dean Reynolds. Outside of him is going to be the 50 of Malachi Smith. Inside of row number 11, going to be Jacob Brown in the 713. Outside, who let the dogs out? It says right on the side of his car, we let the dogs out. So it was Joe Canellis who did it in the number 1. Rounding out the field tonight in row number 12 is going to be James Bond in the 007, Michael Vecchio, and starting on the outside, the 014 of Greg Boydell.
All right, well, the mystery's been solved. Joe Canellis leading the dogs now, but a main event time here for the Full Throttle Motorsports. 3 big block modifieds, I should say. We've already had the RSN Junkside 358 modifieds, but it's time to tackle the Knoxville Raceway. 30 laps on the board. Let's get dirty for 30 here at the Knoxville Raceway with Gavin Chatham and Anthony Morano. Going to lead this 24-car field down through the opening 2 left-hand turns as Anthony Morano driving away there from Gavin Chatham. Very, very surprised to see how much speed he had there on the exit of turn number 4. We look to complete lap number 1 here in the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modifieds. Anthony Morano looking to double up here on modified wins here on this Gambler Motorsports and Thursday Night Thunder, Zach.
Yeah, too wide all throughout the field. The front 5 have kind of strung out, which is exactly what they want. They want all the battling to be behind them. They just want to be safe for the first half of this race. Smart racer knows you can't win it right now, but boy, Anthony Morano is just trying to walk away with this.
Brandon Templeton showing some good speed on the low side. He got by Jason Butterfield. Now it's Jason Butterfield's turn to go back to the inside into turn number 3 and 4. Butterfield and Templeton nearly made contact there in the middle of 3 and 4, but Templeton sweeps back to the outside. He'll move back to the 3rd spot to find his way onto a podium, getting a little loose on the entry into turn number 1. Jason Butterfield, Jeffrey Barker, Logan Wentz, and Isaac Sellis make up your top 7. And look at that, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. In fact, we'll just call it your top 7 on screen. You go back a little further. Isaac Salas, Jeffrey Barker, Dan McLaren, Dylan Kinsey, not too far away from this battle, but still watching Brandon Templeton in that 31 machine again, just rolling to the inside. Chatham sweeps back to the outside. From the top to the bottom he goes. And boy, Gavin Chatham, he's found the line that Isaac Salas was running, that cutback line in turn number 1 and 2 in the RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds.
Yeah, caution is out, though. It looks like Dean Reynolds maybe got into some trouble here.
Oh, we got into the back of Greg Boydell going down into turn number 3. Yeah, just caught him on the left rear quarter panel. The drivers go hard into the guardrail.
Ooh, maybe some intentional contact after the wreck, too. It didn't look like Craig was too happy there.
No, we'll leave that in the hands of race control and leave that for the post-race stuff to get sorted out. But the opening 5 laps, and I'm going to say, you know what, and I hate to bring this up because if something happens to him, I'm going to feel really bad about this, but it's nice to see that 31 car of Brandon Templeton up in the front of the field, out of harm's way.
Well, Brandon, you heard him. If anything happens, it's Brett's fault, not mine tonight. But it definitely is real good to see this 31 up here. And, not only up here, Brett, like he's not blocking for third. He's really fast, and he's giving Gavin all he can handle right now for second. And if he can get by Gavin, I'm anxious to see if he has anything for that 32 in Murano, because he's really fast on the bottom right now.
Oh, look at the top of the screen. Fastest lap, Brandon Templeton with a 19.519. That's almost a tenth quicker. You've got Gavin Chatham, who was a fifth with a 19.592. Everybody else pretty much 19.6, 19.7, 19.8. You've got drivers that, for the moment, just outside that 19-second bracket and finishing 22nd. But those guys are deep in this field. But looks like the lights are out on the Steve King Foundation safety car and the iRacing.com official pace vehicle. Anthony Morano, Gavin Chatham, Brandon Templeton, Jason Butterfield, Logan Winchett top 5, Jeffrey Barker, Isaac Salas, Dan McLaren, Dylan Kinsey, Matt Schaefer. That makes up your top 10. Blake Chapman just outside that top 10. We're back to green here in turn number 1 and 2. And just like that, Brandon Templeton again gets to the inside. But it's that exit speed there of Gavin Chatham. He's just got it worked out there on the exit of turn number 2.
Yeah, but before you can get anything done, another quick caution here.
Kinsey in the 83 machine had contact with Schaefer, I believe it was, also in the 83. In fact, there was 3 wide, Chapman, Kinsey and Schaefer. Unfortunately, Zach, sometimes just 3 into 1 down the back straightaway doesn't really work out all that well.
No, it doesn't. And Malachi Smith, poor guy, he just ran into the back of it, nowhere for him to go, just a culprit. And sometimes you're a victim of other people's aggressive driving.
Yes, it can happen to the best of us, and it can happen at any stage. You know what I like about, and again, this is totally off topic on where I'm actually going to go, but it also fits into this race. You want to know why I know we're going caution, even if we're not looking at where the wreck might be happening? So I've got a...
Enlighten us.
Okay, so I've got a Logitech mouse and a mouse pad that's... It's a charging mouse pad, right? Well, when the yellow comes on, it flashes yellow at me before the ticker will even go yellow.
Oh, man, you're going to have to send me that mouse, Brett.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can probably get it from local retail stores. But yes, it's, like I said, a useless bit of information, but it's information that, I mean, if you got a mouse pad like that and a mouse, it's, well, I don't even know what mouse it is, actually. It's a wireless one. I'm going to say it's a Logitech. Yes, I don't know what it is. Honestly, I can't tell you. Actually, I might have a spare one. Hang on. No. Maybe not. I thought I had a spare one. Anyhow, getting off topic. We're getting back ready to go back green, Zach.
Yeah, Anthony Morano looks to have another good jump here. He was able to get a real good bottom. He does an excellent job of putting that left rear tire right on the bottom of the tack there on the exit where there's still some tack, and gets a good launch, and he's able to pull away from Gavin. We'll have to see if he can do it again.
All right, getting ready to go back green. Full Throttle Motorsports, big block modified, 6 down, 24 to run. It's going to be Anthony Morano, Gavin Chatham again, working back to the outside of the 31 car. So Morano still leading the way, watching Brandon Templeton there, just right in the middle of the screen. Then you go back to Jason Butterfield. Jeffrey Parker in position number 5. It's nice to see the 513 car with a good solid result so far, but we'll go back and watch that 31 car of Brandon Templeton, who has got Jason Butterfield. But Brandon Templeton again just made a little bit of a bobble there in the middle of 1 and 2. He got up on the guardrail. Yellow is out.
Yeah, big wreck there. I believe Jake Henry threw a slider that got it all started. Or not Jake Henry, who's in the 1 car? Anthony Vitale, excuse me.
Yep. Well, I mean, there's technically 2 number 1 cars if you look at the Mission 22 entry of Joe Canellis. Oh, yeah, boy, that was just... I mean, I'm trying to get in his mind here on how
the
that
only
works
credit
out.
I can give to him is maybe he was going to run that middle low line and how much Blake Chapman checked up, which is what you need to do to run the bottom efficiently.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe got freaked out a little bit and drove in a little too hard, but
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can really see from that, yeah, because there was no room up top, Brett.
All right, you know what? We'll go with that. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So a couple of cautions, 3 cautions inside of the first 8 laps of your main event here for your Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Spring Season. Week number 1 tonight presented, and this season the Big Block Modifieds presented by Full Throttle Motorsports. So we thank those guys for their support here with the Coast to Coast Racing League. You can catch a whole lot of racing every night. In fact, I want to say 5 or 6 nights throughout the week they broadcast their races, Zach. So a lot of racing with the Coast to Coast, and if you want to get involved in it, you can check out Coast to Coast on the web at www.c2crl.com.
Yeah, I think we've cut back to Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for the most part. We'll do Tuesdays every now and then and some Sundays during, charity weeks and stuff like that. But we've cut back a little bit, trying to focus more on quality than quantity. Put some good, as you've seen, some good almost 30-car fields out there, and that's what we're looking forward to doing this season.
Well, still to come from the Knoxville Raceway. Pro Late Models coming up after this one, and then hopefully we'll have coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity cars from Phoenix Raceway here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We'll get ready to send it back green off turn number 4, and there we go. Anthony Moreno says, "Righto boys, catch me if you can. I'm off and underway once again down into 1 and 2. And look at Templeton. Boy, just straight away sent it upstairs into turn number 1.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye too. I mean, he knows that if he wants to get by Murano, he's going to have to do it up high. So you might as well work in the track now. We don't want to see it happen, but this thing's been a caution fest. So go off, blow it off, make sure you keep 3rd place, and just do some work for later.
Guys, I'm watching in this one. Blake Chapman, Isaac Salas. Chapman again moving through the field. He picked up, I want to say, 12 spots in the RSN Trackside 358 Modified main event. Wasn't enough to be the hard charger, but it was the second biggest mover through the field. And right now, after what is 10 laps complete, 20 to run, he is your hard charger, up 11 positions. Make that 10 as Logan Wentz gets back around the outside of the 20 car. So Blake Chapman just a couple of spots outside of a top 5. And, well, that's the battle for the top 5 right there. 5th, 6th, and 7th with Barker, Wentz, and Chapman.
Yeah, Blake's doing it all in the bottom, too. It's going to get real tough here if they go 3 wide. He's going to lose a lot of momentum coming off the corner. As you see, Logan's able to carry it by Jeff. Jeff's pinching himself off in the middle, and Blake's getting pinched off even more down on the bottom. So Blake's going to have to get real aggressive real fast, or he's going to see Isaac go by him on the outside, too.
Here's Salas trying to work it up behind that Mega Plumbing Bilstein number 513 car of Jeffrey Barker. Dan McLaren trying to have a look on the inside of the 5 car of Isaac Salas on the exit of turn number 2. Watching, Brandon Templeton into the guardrail. Yellow flag is out, and boy, didn't he just get saved just then, because we technically didn't complete the lap. So we go back to the last recorded lap, and, well, rather than giving that spot up to Jason Butterfield, Brandon Templeton, with a stroke of luck, he'll now go back to position number 3 instead of position number 4.
Yeah, sometimes it's better be lucky than good, right? And that's one of those where you see it really pay off. But, oh, my gosh, was that wreck. That was destruction. We saw 2 people lose tires there.
That's never a good sign when a couple of people lose tires. And are we talking left front or right front?
I think we're talking right front from Jacob Brown, and I think it was maybe the left front of Joseph Grandy. I couldn't tell, though.
Very tough break for a couple of those drivers here. But I got to say, we had, I think, 5 or 6 laps of a green flag run just then. So this driver's slowly starting to get this racetrack figured out. And when you're rolling around right now, how much are you paying attention to the racetrack, Zach?
I mean, you really got to pay attention to the racetrack, because the caution laps, they aren't going to, beat up the track as much as the feature, but, it is putting a little grooves in it, and you see guys up top now really wearing down the top. Anthony's going to drive up there slow, feel if he feels any bumps, and, it seems weird, but once you get a little bumps in the middle of the corner, that's almost when the car will hook up, and it's time to go up there. You've got something for the wheels to grab, and I imagine that's what he's feeling for, because he's been on the bottom all race, and he's going to stay committed to it unless he notices the tops what's quick. He doesn't want to give up where he likes to be.
All right, well, we'll see what happens here in this main event here from the Knoxville Raceway. Can Anthony Morano go back-to-back Will he get the job done and get the opening round of the season in the books to pick up 2 feature wins to start off this Gambler Motorsports and Thursday Night Thunder? Come back to the green flag off turn number 4, and we are back underway with Anthony Morano, Gavin Chatham, back to Brandon Templeton as they work it through 1 and 2. We've got 17 to run.
Yeah, almost halfway, and Anthony Morano just pulling away, pretty much been dominating this feature. But Brandon Templeton, wow, got real aggressive there on the entry at 3, almost drove into the pit entry.
Well, Templeton doing everything in his power to get by and to find his way into second or third position. Look at Blake Chapman on the inside of Jason Butterfield, and Chapman goes from, let's take a look at Blake Chapman's race so far, or his night so far. Quickest in qualifying, didn't transfer. A 2.2 second victory in the B main. We go yellow, and now all of a sudden he finds his way to position number 4. That 20K, yes, it's got a whole lot of speed, and Zach, these cautions are falling right in the hands of this 20 car.
They really are, because he had just passed for 4th, Brett, and if you notice when that caution came out, he had just passed the start-finish line. So there he goes, gets to keep 4th. He was locked in for that lap, and everything's falling that kid's way. I told you in the pre-race grid to watch out for him, how quick he was in consolation, and man, he's doing it, and he's doing it on the bottom, and it's bad news for Brandon Templeton, because Brandon Templeton's been running the high side.
Well, I tell you what, it is going to be an epic 14 laps here from the Knoxville Raceway. Again, who will take out the opening round of this series for the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modified season for spring season, week number 1. Next week, we'll travel to the virtual Weed Sports Speedway for what is round number 2, but still more to come later on this evening. We've got Pro Late Models to come here live from the Knoxville Raceway, and then the NASCAR Xfinity cars coming to you live from Phoenix Raceway to wrap up this Gambler Motorsports and Thursday Night Thunder here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's been a wonderful week so far. Going back to, I watched the micros yesterday. They run winged micros at Lanier. I say I miss racing. Actually, I'm going to ask you that question. Have you run the micros yet?
Oh, yeah, I've run them. I mean, if that's what you want to call it. I'm not very good at it, but I've definitely driven them.
Your thoughts on them?
They're a great car, and I have a lot more respect for the people who drive them now, because iRacing does a pretty good job with the realization. We all know that. And when I grew up dirt racing as a kid, I was never in winged cars. I drove 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder cars as a teenager, and man, watching the 600 micro sprints go out on the local track, all they would do was wreck every lap, and I always wondered how they wrecked those slow things. And driving one, I could go out there and wreck one all by myself, just like they used to.
I got to say, I've had a lot of fun over the past week since the micros and Millbridge have been added to the addition to the iRacing.com service. But speaking of the iRacing.com service, the Steve King Foundation safety car is off and back into the pits. We are underway once again for the back half of this A main event. Well, right now, we'll go straight back to the battle on between positions 3, 4, 5, and 6. Brandon Templeton, Blake Chapman, Jason Butterfield, and Logan Wentz. Meanwhile, your race leader is Anthony Morano, but Blake Chapman now going to get to the inside of Brandon Templeton here off turn number 4. It's going to be a drag race to the line, and Brandon Templeton has got it by half a car length, and that is big if we get a caution as well, Zach.
Yeah, Blake, man, he's so quick, able to really clear him now. He's hoping they can get back to the line here so we can lock this up. But, boy, he's all over Gavin Chatham already. This kid's in a new zone. I think he may have something for Anthony if he can get around Gavin.
Well, Gavin is going to have to protect that inside line, but right there he just leaves it open just a little bit. But it's going to be that exit speed for the 99 car of Gavin Chatham again. Brandon Templeton. Look at Isaac Salas now finding his way to position number 5. He's come from deep in the field as well. So that 5 machine is starting to move forward along with the 20 car of Blake Chapman. Brandon Templeton on screen just in front of them. Is that battle on for the minor placings? Gavin Chatham and Blake Chapman. But Zach, I've got to say, boy, I tell you what, Isaac Salas is coming after Brandon Templeton, and the 20 car of Chapman and the 5 of Salas, they're probably the 2 quickest cars on the raceway at the moment.
Yeah, but this 99 car is doing a beautiful job of holding the middle here in 1 and 2 and really cutting Blake's speed off, but he floated up a little more open the door for Blake, but still not going to have a run here as we go into 3. Not going to be able to do anything.
Last lap time by Isaac Salas, a 19.860. The next quickest car was Blake Chapman with a 19.986. Yeah, Blake has got second at the down in the middle of turn number 1 and 2. Chatham is going to try and come back in, but again, keep an eye on the 5 car just to the very right of your screen. We've only got 8 to run at the start-finish line, so a distance of your consolation race is all that separates Anthony Morano from backing up a win in the RSN Trackside 358 Modifieds. He's looking to double down here in the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modified Series as Brandon Templeton goes to the inside, but here comes Isaac Salas, and Salas is now late in this race. That 5 car is just gaining more and more speed as the race goes on.
Yeah, the high side's really starting to come in, especially in 1 and 2. Isaac's throwing it in there as hard as he can and driving that thing off like a full head of steam, with a full head of steam. And seeing him, he got in the wall there being a little too aggressive, but he's going to get the speed right back. But Gavin maybe throws a block a little bit, and Isaac gives him a push going in the corner, and Gavin's going to go around.
More importantly, what that does, the 0.8 of a second lead from Anthony Morano is now going to get pushed back to absolutely nothing, because that is going to bring out the caution. We'll go back and have a look at this little incident here down into turn number 3 and 4 between Isaac Salas and Gavin Chatham. So this is your battle for 3rd and 4th, and Chatham really didn't do anything wrong. He just kept running his line, and the onus is going to come back on the car behind him.
Yep, he floated up top, and maybe Isaac, thought, I'm gonna go for a big-time slider here. Thought Gavin was going to take the top away, but Gavin ran the same line he's been running, the last 15, 20 laps, and Isaac just overdrove it and got right in the back of him.
All right, well, 6 laps left to run. We go back to the start of the night, and we look at the heat race distances, Zach, as well. That's all it is. 6 laps, 3 miles. It's not a whole lot of time, but boy, I tell you what, when you look at the speed that your top 3 have, Anthony Morano, Blake Chapman, and Isaac Salas, Zach, I mean, this really could shake things up here in the final 6 laps.
Yeah, it really can, but Anthony is so good he's been running the bottom there on the restarts, and right when he gets into the tack, he fires. So any car behind him is still in the slick, and they get a little wheel spin. If I'm Blake Chapman, there's no rule that says you got to stay in line. You just can't pass before the start-finish line. So I'm maybe looking a little higher here in 3 and 4. Keep my car in the tack and, fire right when the leader does, and you can carry as much speed down that straightaway as he's going to have and really try and limit that gap, because if Blake starts behind him and tries to fire in the slick, he's just not going to get that advantage that Anthony gets.
Well, let's see what happens here in the back half in these final 6 laps of this A main event. The lights are out. Anthony Morano 3 miles away from claiming back-to-back victories here in the season opener On Your Gambler Motorsports and Thursday Night Thunder. And boy, he got a good start to get away from Blake Chapman. Isaac Salas also sleeping on that start. The Brandon Templeton works it down to the inside, and Isaac Salas into 1 and 2, looking to claim or reclaim a podium position, but the 5 car's just got a whole lot more exit speed. Watching Parker and Wentz go at it for what is positions number 6 and 7.
Yeah, nice to see Barker up around the top 5, still fighting at the end. It's a good, strong finish for him. He's had a couple bad luck races here the past couple weeks, so nice to see him up towards the front.
Salas again back to the outside and getting away from that 31 car. Oh, Brandon Templeton, meanwhile, up front. Let's take a look at the top 2 as they are nose to tail. It is less than 0.2 of a second right now. Anthony Morano, again, he'll protect down into the inside line into 1 and 2. Chapman again. Blake Chapman still trying everything in his power. We know that Blake Chapman, I don't think he's going to use the old bump and run, but I tell you what, he's going to have to try something different. He's going to have to wait and hope and pray that Morano makes a mistake. And, well, if these two slow up, it's going to bring Salas into the picture. Battle is on for the race lead. Blake Chapman's got it right through the middle of 1 and 2. And here comes Morano back to the outside. Your race for the lead is on. Yellow.
Oh, caution. Oh, man. That's exactly what Anthony Morano needed.
Gee whiz. That was getting exciting there for the final 2 laps. And, well, I guess you could almost say, Zach, that right there that finishes up, because it took Blake 3, nearly 4 laps to get going there in that 20 car.
You're exactly right. And, that's one of the tough realizations of dirt racing, but that's the reality. If the leader gets a good start on a green, white, checkered, and dirt, it's really hard to go back up there and get them unless, you drive aggressive and move them out of the way, which Blake might try. Blake might go up there and throw him a front bumper going into the corner on the last lap, but it's going to be real tough to get a good start. I think Anthony Morano, he actually didn't get a great restart last time, I don't think. He went a little later than he normally was and fired a little more on the front stretch, and that allowed Blake to actually be in the tack when he was behind him. So if I'm Anthony, I go back to that early restart and I fire right away and just drive off in the sunset.
We'll see what happens here in these final 2 laps. We'll turn the lights off on the iRacing.com safety car and the Steve King Foundation safety car. So there'll be 2 to green. They'll come to 1 to green, and once they get the 1 to green signal, once the pace car moves infield, the field is in the hands of that 32 car of Anthony Morano for Full Throttle Motorsports is getting the title sponsor. And just seeing Anthony just see what the grip's like in turn number 1 is that just trying to keep some temperature in those tires?
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Just going up there, just making sure the rear tires are ready to stick when he fires in the tack, and he knows what he's doing. I think he should have this locked up if he gets a good start.
Well, there's only 2 laps left to run. Anthony Morano, we'll see when he fires. Safety car is off. It's a late start once again. There we go. And a good restart there for Anthony Morano. Blake Chapman has got his work cut out for him here in the next mile around the Knoxville Raceway. Sticks the bottom side pretty decent off for turn number 2. Does Blake Chapman. They'll come into turn number 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. If they get to the white flag, we finish this race no matter what happens from here on out. And that indeed we do. We get the white flag. 1 lap left to run for Anthony Morano. Looking to double up here on the Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder. Spring season week number 1. Chapman is close. Will he have enough to get by him down into 3 and 4? I doubt it. Anthony Morano sticks to the low side of turn number 4, and Anthony Morano goes back to back here in the modifieds on your Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Series.
What a way to kick off Thursday for Anthony. Back-to-back wins. Very impressive. I know Blake is going to be thinking, what if? So many cautions benefited him tonight, but that last one really cost him. So, as well as I do, Brett, you got to take the good with the bad and probably be happy with that second-place finish.
Absolutely awesome, considering he started position number 17, mind you, up 15 position it was, and well, that makes him tonight's hard charger as well. But let's take a look at your full field rundown. Anthony Morano gets to win over Blake Chapman. Your B-main winner to come home position number 2, Isaac Seltzer will complete the podium. We'll chat to those 3 drivers here in a few moments' time. Brandon Templeton, Jason Butterfield. Nice to see Templeton, by the way, finish 4th. Good result for the 31 car and a much-needed result for the confidence as well. Logan Wentz home in 6th position. Jeffrey Barker in 7th. Dan McLaren in 8th. 9th we'll go to Matt Schaefer. Dylan Kinsey will round out your top 10. We'll go over the page. 11th through the 20th will be Dean Reynolds in 11th. Malachi Smith in 12th. Anthony Vitale in 13th. Greg Boydell 14th. Jake Henry to make up your top 15. Gavin Chatham, who unfortunately had an incident there with Isaac Salas late in that race, will come home 16th position. Jacob Brown 17th. Bob DeGood in position number 18th. Michael Vecchio 19th. Joe Canellis in position number 20, and he was in essentially the last car on the lead lap, and then back to a bunch of DNFs. We go back to Samuel Bachman in 21st, Alex Pomelo 22nd, Joseph Grady 23rd, and Randall Dixon in position at number 24. Well, it's time to go trackside. We'll chat to your top 3. We'll chat the 3rd place first. It's the 5 car of Isaac Salas here this evening, and well, Isaac, congratulations on this 3rd place finish here tonight. Boy, this 5 car had a whole lot of speed all throughout the course of this 30-lap main event, but when it's all said and done, the 3rd place is where you're going to have to settle for.
Yeah, man, it was fun. I was just like 358s. I was struggling like hell in in finding something that worked. So P3 is nothing to complain about.
Well, you had a pretty fast hot rod, but late in that race, you were catching up to the back of Blake. You were catching up to the race lead and the race winner, eventually, of Anthony Morano. Then those cautions just sort of not coming out in your favour, especially with 2 in the last 6 or 7 laps here at the Knoxville Raceway. How much did it suck to see those cautions late in that race?
I mean, it sucked that I was caused one of them, so I apologize. But I mean, it would have been nice if I could have been up there like 15 laps earlier. Probably would have had something back then. But that berm was really nice. I finally got it to work in like the middle portion of the race and started making headway. But once it got kind of gone, it was back to just trying to find it. So I mean, hey, it was I felt something for a while there, so I can't complain.
Well, you felt something, you found something, and you found yourself with the podium position here tonight for the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modified season opener here on this Gambler Motorsports and Thursday Night Thunder Spring Season Week number 1. Isaac, congratulations on the podium finish. Before we let you go, we'll let you think of it involved on this number 5 car.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to Mr. Morano on the win of the season. So he's starting off strong. Thanks to Venom Racing, Super Dirt Car Series, Magnum Race Designs, Got Your 6 Racing Network, RSN Trackside, Mission 22, my Gramps with Top Notch Trucking. Thank you guys for the broadcast. Thanks to my girlfriend for letting me do this on my birthday of all days. My friends, my family. I know my mom and dad are watching for sure. I'm pretty sure my Gramps is watching, so it's pretty awesome.
Isaac, well done on 3rd place. Go and enjoy the rest of your birthday, buddy. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thanks, Brett.
There we go. Isaac Salas, your 3rd place finisher here tonight. The more we'll go from one Chapman to another. Zach, you're going to catch up with Blake in 2nd spot.
Yeah, Blake, your long-lost relative that you kick his butt every week that you're on the track with him in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Zach.
Hey, dude. Well, let me tell you, we all know that last caution was heartbreak, but, man, a lot of those cautions fell for you at good times. You were really fast, and on the pre-grid, I said to watch out for you because, man, you dominated that consolation. It's obviously hard to tell the talent that's in that, but when you win one by 2.5 seconds, you know somebody's coming in with a fast car. Just tell us how you hooked it up and got through the field.
Yeah, it was actually kind of different from the Consi to the A main. The Consi, I was entering low, but kind of drifting up to the middle and catching the grip and going off. And in the A main, I was just on the bottom the whole time. And like you said, I got some good cautions when I needed them. Obviously not that last one, but if we went caution free, there's no way I was going to be even close to up front. So getting 2nd, starting 17th, I'll definitely take it. That's for sure.
Yeah, man, nothing wrong with that. Hard charger all the way up to 2nd, and maybe a couple more laps. You were right all over Anthony. Maybe you could have had it, but congratulations on the 2nd place finish, Blake. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the family for watching and supporting. I got to thank all the guys at the Kreitz Sim Racing team and the Can-Am Racing team. I got to thank Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding, Andy at A&J Custom Creations, and Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps. I also got to give a shout out to Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best popcorn out there, and don't forget to use code CART at checkout, 15% off. And I got to thank you guys for putting this broadcast on.
Well, couldn't find my push to talk button. Well, congratulations, Blake, and that's awesome, man. We'll bring up Anthony Morano here, your back-to-back feature winner, and we'll let you get a word with him, Brett.
Thank you very much, Zach. Anthony Morano, your winner here tonight in the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modifieds. Anthony, congratulations. What a way to start off the Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder Spring Season Week number 1. 2 feature wins in a row. Not a bad way to kick off this campaign once again.
No, not at all, man. Literally cannot do anything better than that, I say. So maybe get a little bit better in qualifying and pick up some bonus points that way, but definitely take two victories on the first night of the season.
This track, it almost looked very similar to what we've seen in the RSN trackside 358 modified. You've been on the racetrack. How did you see it sort of play out between the pair? And did you compare any sort of notes as you were rolling around?
Yeah, I was looking around to see what, where the slick spots were. It was coming to be about the same, but with the difference between the big block power compared to the 358, it's similar, but not really. So, I mean, it worked out for us. Definitely had a much better start than in the 358, so that helped a lot. And I think that last caution definitely saved me there because Blake was about to just eat me up and check out. So I got lucky, and we'll definitely move on and see. I don't even know where we're going next week, but hopefully it's someplace better than Knoxville. I definitely like Weedsport better than Knoxville. I actually don't like this track at all.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, for you not liking a track, you certainly show the boys how to get it done here in the opening week of the season. We look forward to seeing you back next week, but you got some pro late models to come here from the Knoxville Raceway. You're going to try and go 3 for 3, or you're just going to pull up and say 2 for 2. We'll start it off.
Now we're going to go for it here in the late model, see how that works out. It's always worth a try to see what happens.
Right, well, Anthony, congratulations on the victory here in the Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modified season opener here on this Gambler Motorsports and Thursday Night Thunder for spring season week number 1. Anthony, before we let you go one more time, we'll let you thank everyone involved on this 32 car.
I thank my wife, Sherry, my teammates over at Full Throttle Motorsports, GripHack.com, Dean at Super Dirt Car, Logan at High Mom Lens, DJ Simshop, Swan Speed, MDI TV, Brett, you for doing the broadcast, and everyone at Coast to Coast.
Anthony, well done on back-to-back feature wins here on this Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder. Good luck for the remainder of the night and also the season.
Thanks a lot.
There we go. That was Anthony Morano picking up the win here tonight from the Knoxville Raceway in your Full Throttle Motorsports Big Block Modified season opener here from the Knoxville Raceway. We'll take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for the Ultimate Dirt TV side of things. We will now take this opportunity to thank everybody involved that made all this possible. Again, don't forget to check out Coast to Coast on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Of course, if you want to get involved with the racing or if you want to help sponsor a series, just head over to the website at www.c2crl.com and you can find all the information right there. So, until next time, on behalf of Zach Chapman and Brett Wheeler, we'll say farewell, good night, but stick around. More action to come live here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.